Hi guys, in this tutorial I am going to teach you how to create lace by putting needles on hold. So I have selected 20 needles and I'm going to put every third needle onto hold. But first of all I'm going to cast on using the E-wrap. So for this tutorial I am using my chunky gauge machine. I'm using a 4-ply yarn and I have my tension set to 1. I am going to knit several rows before I begin to hold and create the lace. So now I'm going to knit several rows. I'm going to push the needles out as far as they'll go, just to help the carriage go over and knit every stitch. Now I am going to add the weight and then begin to push out my selected needles that I'm going to hold. I'm just double checking my stitches and making sure that they're all fully knitted, and then leaving 2 at the very end of each side. I'm going to select every third needle. So there'll be 2 stitches between every needle that remain pushed in, and I have 6 needles pushed out. I am going to set the carriage to hold, and now I am going to knit over the needles in the hold position 6 times. When you go over, you will see that a float is left above your needles that are pushed fully out. This is going to create our tuck stitch. So we go over 6 times. Okay, so now we will go back into the knit position on the carriage and knit every needle, and then knit once more, and this has created our tuck stitch, which is our lace fabric. Now I'm going to push all the needles out again in exactly the same position. I'm going to put the carriage on hold and knit across the needles 6 more times. Make sure that the needles that are knitting properly. Sometimes when you hold so many needles for this amount of rows, they can sometimes not knit properly. I've just knitted the 2 rows, on every single needle, and then I'm going to repeat, pushing 6 needles out into the old position. I put the carriage back on hold and knit 6 rows. After the 6 rows, I put the carriage back to knit all needles, and then I knit 2 rows, and this is our stitch complete. As you can see, this is a very effective stitch and it's very quick. So I'm going to repeat it again. We push the 6 needles out as far as they'll go, and we knit over with the carriage 6 times with the carriage in the old position. This creates floats above the needles that are in old. Make sure that all of your needles that are currently knitting are knitting correctly, and then we will put our carriage into the knit position and knit all the needles twice. Okay, so this is a little closer. I have pushed my needles out. I push them out in exactly the same position every single time. I have the carriage in hold and I'm knitting my 6 rows. I would then put the carriage back into the knit position and knit all 20 needles twice. And our pattern is now complete. You just need to keep on repeating this process. This pattern is very quick and easy, and it looks effective and quite beautiful for summer. So I'm just going to cast off now. I'm just going to do a simple bind off. So I'm just going to slip every stitch onto the next needle and then knit the 2 stitches together. I showed this fully in some of my other tutorials. So this has been really fun. I hope you've enjoyed watching. See you again soon. Bye.